is brand reputation and being amazing at your contracts.
Yes.
All right. So let me go ahead and start us off here. So we are real estate agents. And the main core thing that we do is help our clients buy and sell homes. And how we do that is use a contract. And the contract is the main vehicle that we have. And we need to be amazing at that. Our brand reputation that has started from the top is with my lovely wife, Shauna, that she totally knows the contract inside and out. And you're kind of a nerd like that. And what we need is for everyone else to continue on being the same exact way. If you yourself do not know the contract inside and out and don't know what blanks to put in, then that is eroding at the brand reputation of what we started and what we built. So talk about that for just a little bit, if you would, Shauna.
So I'm going to also kind of take a step back on brand reputation. You know, you have to think, when you go utilize a service of someone, whether it's an attorney or a handyman or whoever it is, their reputation is what gets you to engage in that service, right?
Yes.
So this is how important it is. There are a lot of agents and realtors out there, and you have to be consistent and bite your tongue a lot of times and really think about your reputation in the industry as a whole. Okay? I think it's really important. We have worked hard on this and focused on this for many, many years, and I think it matters. We're not perfect every day, but it does matter. When you step out there and you're wanting to negotiate a deal, or you're in a multiple offer situation, or any of those things, it matters. So one way to be very reputable in the industry is to know the contract. You know, we get contracts come over sometimes and they're not filled out properly, they're haphazardly filled out, whatever, and it really gives a negative perception of that other side and that representation.
I would
and
agree.
You almost feel bad sometimes for the client that they're representing, because you think, do they even have any idea that this is happening? You know, and they may not. So know the contract. Look, there's times that Stacy and I sit down and we have to talk about, you know, certain parts of the contract. It's okay to not know it. It takes years, right? And sometimes I make mistakes on the contract. So what I want each of you to do is to know that contract. Read it. Read it. Read it. If there's something in there that you don't fully understand and you're just like, well, this is what we do every time, that's not good. You should be able to know why we do that every time and what the typical is, right? So I want you to fill every blank out. And what you have to understand is once that contract is signed and executed, it's a done deal. There's no going back, and the only way to change that contract at that point is to amend it. You can't go back and make any changes, even if you just left something off. You have to amend it, which means both buyer and seller have to agree. So a silly example that I think you can relate to is if you put $400,000 or you put in an extra zero, your client's buying a $400,000 house and you put in an extra zero, and it's now a $4 million house, and you're like, whoa, oops, I made a mistake. Well, what if the seller's like, too bad, that's what you offered and that's what I'm taking? The only alternative you have at that point, the only option you have, is to terminate the contract and start over. You see the problem. If they have other offers, they may not be willing to take yours anymore. So having it done correctly in the beginning is really important. It says a lot about you as an agent, and it gives them the confidence that this deal is going to move forward and in a smooth and professional way and get done. So, you know, knowing the contract is a lot, and, you know, feeds a lot into your reputation.
It does.
Yes.
And if there's anyone out there that's not doing it correctly, kind of we're only as good as our worst link, so to speak. So when somebody goes out there and puts a contract in that doesn't have everything filled out correctly, that's not represented correctly, that's not showing the true knowledge and passion for that real estate contract, then it kind of affects everybody, right? Because there's always people that are like, oh, Keller only hires new agents, or
People
agents,
get a reputation.
yeah,
yes.
like agents at Abbey Holiday all wear like,
Stop.
all right, fine, I won't
Scratch that.
scratch that. All
No,
right.
but just we get them a lot of times, and if you're filling out the financing part, they always are in the wrong, the wrong space. It's okay to not know, you guys, but what we want you to do is read it, know it, ask questions. It's okay. Ask away. We love answering those questions because we know this is the main piece of everything. Your reputation, negotiation, like of our entire industry, of our business, is the contract.
And if you don't
Right.
know what to put in, you have a tip in there, right?
Yep, there's in zip forms in our template, there are little sticky notes in there that you can look at, and it kind of tells you what's typical and what to put in there. We're also going to be adding into zip forms, a couple of examples, because we want you to be able to go back and look at a previous contract, and we can only see our own in the CRM and in zip forms. So we're going to put, I'm going to save some of my previous ones and put as examples. So you can go back and look at that. And if you've done all of your due diligence, right, we don't want to just be the people that give you the answer to give the answer. We want you to understand why you're putting that in there, and make sure you put the right thing in there, and do a little research and understand it. So, we're here for you. We want you to ask these questions, but please don't just call and be like, what do you put in here?
Do I put 5
Do I
or
put
7
5?
in here?
What
Yeah.
what do we put in there? And that typically happens when someone is doing something on a deadline, and last minute sometimes, but they have a deadline. So please do yourself a favor, because when you're doing that, you want to have enough knowledge to know that I can get through 95% of it. There might be a little that I need help with, right? And we're fine to answer those questions. But please do your homework and know these things. We're going to talk about this more. There's some contract changes coming up that we're going to talk about at our summit. But, that's really important.